Hello and welcome to the October 26th episode of This Week in Kirkland, the official podcast of the City of Kirkland, bringing you timely topics and noteworthy news delivered to you every week. I'm your host, Jim Lopez, one of the deputy city managers here at the city, and I'm joined today by two members of our podcast team.
Hello, I'm Sue Romero.
And David Walbrecht.
And here, my friends, are the stories we're covering this week.
Yeah, we've got some great ideas for fun stuff, including Dia de los Muertos, pumpkins in the park, and wheels and reels. Also, a heads up on the next city council meeting coming up.
Yeah, we've got a really inspiring story about some folks helping save a life. Another fun story about actually a scout troop learning about ham radio. And a quick shout out to our fire department for hosting a heavy machinery training. Preview, there's a school bus involved.
Nice.
Yes,
We're also going to be talking about our amazing police department who is hiring new and experienced police officers. There's some opportunities for you to get involved in making Kirkland a more artful place.
Ooh.
More to follow on
I
that.
get it.
Nice, pray tell.
But first, our big story of the week is a big thank you to the community for helping us celebrate two awesome events here in our wonderful city this weekend.
Thank you.
The reopening of the Kirkland Fire Department's newly renovated Fire Station 22 in Houghton and the Kirkland Forest Day up on 132nd Square Park.
Yes. So the reopening of Fire Station 22 was awesome.
Yeah, so you and I were both there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You and I were there. Took lots of pictures. Hundreds of community members showed up. It was not horrible weather. It wasn't sunny, but people braved the cooler temperatures.
The mist.
Yeah. And so when they came in, brought their kids, they got to go on self-guided tours. I stood at the door with the map next to Station 1, and I said, all day I said, welcome to the decon room, folks.
What's the decon room?
Here's where the firefighters put their gear after they've been in an emergency incident that may or may not have hazardous materials into this industrial washing machine.
Yeah. It's a big deal.
Yeah, and wash off. And
It's one of the things, one of the real core reasons why we did the rehabilitation. Right?
That's right,
To get
yeah.
Top of the line technology. What did you enjoy most about the day?
Well, I'll chime in here.
Yes.
I'm kind of embarrassed about this, but it's authentic. The speed at which the garage door opens. It's one of those things that, after I saw it, I was like, well, no duh. The fire engines need to get out real fast. But, I was just sort of imagining it would be like my parents' one that's like...
Right, well, when the alarm's going off, the
yeah, exactly.
guys in the fire truck are like, come on,
let's go.
So you're saying this thing was moving?
Yeah, oh, yeah. Like 15 feet in, I didn't time it, but it's super fast.
Kind of like a science fiction. Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a lot of cool things. So we got to see, or everyone, the community got to see firefighters' work area, the equipment shop. If they break stuff, this is where they fix it, where they sleep, where they work out, the kitchen, and of course, what do you think was the most popular spot?
The
fire trucks.
Garage door.
It's gotta be the
fire
trucks.
trucks. The fire trucks.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
The apparatus bay.
The
where
apparatus bay.
fire trucks are. And kids and families just kept, you would go in to the door I was next to, then they'd come out just a little ways
And then they
down,
go right
and then
back
they
in.
Come back in and go to the fire trucks
It's
again.
like
And I'm
Disneyland.
Hey,
It's let's go on the ride again.
It actually,
here before?
it actually sounds a lot like City Hall for All.
It's true.
With the touch-a-truck.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it was great.
Well, and there was also the Forest Day.
Same weekend?
Yeah, same weekend. The next day up at 132nd Square Park. None of us attended, but we did hear a good report back from Katie in our planning department who kind of organized this whole thing.
What happened at Forest Day?
Yeah, so Forest Day was all about a kickoff for Forest Week,
Nice.
I think, or Arbor Day. I don't know.
Arbor Day.
Tree Day Week, something around there. We're celebrating trees.
Yes.
Because we love trees in Kirkland.
It's all about the trees.
Yeah, and so it was cool. There was a ceremonial tree planting. There was a bunch of booths from a bunch of local vendors, that sort of stuff. There were some educational classes.
I
happened.
understand there was a nature scavenger hunt.
There was a nature
What is
scavenger
that?
hunt. Well, I don't know exactly. I could
I think it's where
speculate.
you look and find stuff in nature, right?
Yeah, there's a list.
Very
You
natural.
Take it off. Yep.
Prizes.
Yeah.
Apparently, there was a tree trivia.
Tree trivia.
Yeah.
We've had a little of that on the show.
It's true. Yeah. So yeah, it sounded like it was just limbs of sorry, I'm trying to make a tree metaphor joke here, but it was just a
Maybe you
trunk
should branch
full
out
of
more.
Trunk full. Branch out a little bit. So 29 volunteers participated?
Yeah, in a couple great restoration projects in nearby parks. And so not at 132nd Square Park, but I think it was at South Norway Hill Park and Kingsgate Park.
So 2 wonderful events in a jam-packed weekend.
That's right.
So, hey, everybody, get your calendars out for some real fun upcoming events in addition to the ones we just discussed. Coming up, we have Pumpkins in the Park on Saturday, October 28th from 10 to 2. Yours truly will be there talking about the pumpkins.
You're the expert, aren't you?
I'm kind of like a little bit of, I don't know the expert, but I do do a little emceeing.
Okay.
It's like my side hustle.
You've been to a previous Pumpkins
I've
in the
been to a
Park,
previous
right?
Is this your second annual
Yes,
Pumpkins
it's my
hosting?
second annual hosting.
Okay.
of Pumpkins. And it's brought to you by the Kirkland Downtown Association.
Awesome.
We'll be at Marina Park, and it will feature food booths, giveaways, games, and treats. Now, I know last year we were moving puppies. They were adorable.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Pumpkin puppies.
Wow.
Oh, they were just so cute. And cats, the kittens, they were fabulous.
Okay.
So anyway, it will be big fun. Come on down.
Oh, hang on. So are there puppies or not this year?
I don't know.
Okay.
We
Well,
should know that.
more information maybe on the
On the
event
show
website.
notes.
Okay, show notes.
Also, another upcoming event, Dia de los Muertos celebration, also on the same day. So this is Saturday,
Wow.
October 28th. It's a busy day,
Yeah.
folks. Pencil this in, 2 to 4, Peter Kirk Community Center.
Okay, so you can roll from Pumpkins in the Park, walk 5 blocks to go to Dia de los Muertos in Peter Kirk Community Center.
Just make a day of it.
Make a
Make a
day
day
of
of
it.
it. Hey, there you go. Fall festivities. Check it out.
So also coming up on Saturday, November 4th, we have Aquila and the Bee at Juanita Beach Park as part of the Wheels and Reels program at the city. $20 per vehicle.
Yep.
And this is Jumbotron, right?
Your favorite, Jim.
My favorite.
Yes.
You got to experience Jumbotron. I mean, it expands up. Like you think it just rolls in. No. This thing
It's like a transformer.
it's like a transformer.
It's a giant
Right.
screen.
And whatever you're looking at, like if the Grand Canyon is on the screen, it's like you're sitting in the Grand Canyon, right?
Jumbo.
So Aquila and the Bee is a wonderful film for those of you who haven't seen it. So
About
come on down.
Spelling bee
Spelling
movie.
bees.
Okay. I thought it was about like honey, beekeeping. Okay.
Different kind of bee.
So the next meeting of the Kirkland City Council is on Wednesday, November 8th. Now, the council usually meets on Tuesdays, but November 7th is a Tuesday, and that's election day. So the council always moves the meeting to the very next day that year. And speaking of the election, remember to turn in your ballots by 8 p.m. on November 7th. Kirkland has 2 drop boxes, one at City Hall and one at Kingsgate Library. Next up, we have a really inspiring story of a cardiac arrest survivor meeting the people who saved his life. This is a wonderful story.
This is a great story. So I got to meet all the people involved, and this happened last summer. It was July 31st at Cafe Veloce in Totem Lake. At a restaurant, a customer collapsed, and one of the servers, her name was Peyton, immediately took action. She started doing CPR, 911 was called, and the customer's name is Steve. He survived because of what she did.
Wow.
Just for a few minutes, she applied CPR, and the
Norcom?
Yes, 911 dispatcher who was on the line with Peyton, like helping her with the instructions. She was a beginner, like she just started.
Oh my gosh.
And so her name was Haley, and then her training supervisor, Laura, all 3 of them were kind of like, okay, here's what you do next.
Oh my gosh.
And, just keep going
And she
until
just
the
kept
fire
at it.
responders get there. Yeah. And so all 4 of them, Steve, Peyton, Haley, and Laura, got to meet this month at Fire Station 27.
Oh, that's wonderful.
In person. And it was really heartwarming. Steve and Peyton hugged, and, there were a lot of thank yous and lots of hugs. And
Wow.
it was just amazing.
So the whole team, the whole caregiving team.
Yes,
got to
and the
connect.
entire team. Like, there's a lot more people behind
Yeah.
something like
Yeah,
this.
absolutely.
Like all the firefighters that were there working that day from Kirkland, from Redmond, I think from South County Fire also. It was like, I don't know, 3 dozen people in this picture with them in the background, and just...
And Peyton got an award, right? So-
Yep, she got a Community Hero Award medal from Kirkland Fire.
Awesome.
So just wonderful example of our wonderful community coming together
Yep.
in an immediate moment of need. So
Great
bravo.
story.
That's right.
Thank you all. Continuing at the general theme of emergency preparedness, here's a fun story about local Troop 572 getting some ham radio training.
Okay. Well, yeah. So apparently, Troop 572 assisted the Kirkland Emergency Communications Team with some radio box inventory and an equipment check.
They got to learn information about ham radios when radio communication is really important. and ways that scouts can take the next steps in learning more about ham radio operations. Do you guys know anything about ham radios?
Very little, just that they're super important when all the rest of our technology
Right, exactly. That's
goes
what I'm
away
thinking.
in the big one. Yeah.
Like in every movie or TV where there's an apocalypse, the only thing
Yeah.
that works is the ham radios.
And they just, international connections.
Yeah,
My
totally.
grandfather, who passed away when I was born, but he was a ham radio operator.
Oh, wow,
And there's just tons of amateur ham radio operators. And I remember he had a whole ham radio station built in our basement. It was just
Awesome.
quite impressive. And they communicate around the world.
Yeah.
Yep.
So cool.
Communicate around the world. So the emergency communications team hopes to hear from new folks checking in on the nets once they pass their licenses.
Yeah.
The scouts. Yep.
Scouts. So another preparedness story this week, this time from our experts in the Kirkland Fire Department.
Yep, Kirkland Fire hosted an annual refresher training for firefighters, not just from Kirkland, but from a couple of other agencies as well. Bellevue and Redmond were there. And this particular training involves heavy or commercial vehicles. So things like, if you can picture, lifting a bus up
man.
with heavy equipment, removing a vehicle from underneath the bus, and then also like extricating a dummy that's in the vehicle and with the jaws of life equipment.
About 50 firefighters from Kirkland, Bellevue, and Redmond attended the 3-day training. So it was really,
In
really
September,
good.
yeah. So it's just another way that Kirkland Fire is kind of leading and training for other agencies on the east side.
So if you think you'd like to help keep the community safe, but maybe the jaws of life aren't your thing, then you should consider a career with the Kirkland Police Department.
Yeah. So Kirkland is small enough to feel like family, but also big enough to have some top-notch training, gear, specialty units, such as our amazing PROAC unit, Proactive. They do a whole bunch of like drug investigations, undercover stuff, like CSI.
I feel
is
like they're the
what-
cool kids at the PD. Like,
I mean, everyone's a cool
Popular-
kid, but
right.
but it's cool work.
yeah.
But also we got like tons of awesome investigations, but community
Traffic
service
unit.
unit, like
Neighborhood resource
a lot
officer,
of specialty
yeah.
stuff. And there's amazing opportunities not only for those that might be new to law enforcement. So if you're considering a career in law enforcement, come on down. Also those that are
experience.
experienced officers.
Come to Kirkland.
Yeah.
And all commissioned police officers are eligible for an electric take-home commuting vehicle or $500 monthly proximity housing premium. And this has been super well received by the department.
For sure.
So laterals are eligible for a $25,000 hiring bonus, and they keep their longevity rates, which is also important. So check out the Kirkland Police Department. And that brings us to our last story of the week. Do you have an interest in the arts and the role of public art in Kirkland?
Maybe.
Well, if so, you should apply to join the Cultural Arts Commission at the city.
What did they do?
Well, funny you should ask that, Sue. The Arts Commission advises the City Council on public art acquisitions and loans.
Yeah, they also review and recommend projects under the city's 1% for the arts program. So this is where there's a big construction project that the city is doing, like a fire station.
Yep.
And there's a public art piece that's actually part of that project. And Sue, we actually saw that. And I don't know, Jim, if you've seen it or not yet, but at the Fire
At
Station
Station
22,
22.
it's this gorgeous, I
Beautiful.
don't know, it's like 9 feet tall,
Yeah.
like prism, like sculpture of a map of Kirkland.
It's red and blue. It
Yeah.
has the red portion is the map of the city, and then the blue is the water.
Yes.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but the Easter eggs are little dots in the map that are the other fire station locations.
Oh,
Super
that's
cool.
great.
Yeah, and it
So-
stays lit up too.
And that's the work of the Arts Commission.
Exactly. They were helping select, like call for the artist, selecting the piece, that sort of thing.
So applications are due November 3rd by 4 p.m.
And applicants must reside, own a business, or work in Kirkland.
So art is such an amazing way to make our community feel special. But did you know
What?
the most expensive art installation in the world is Vessel by Thomas Heatherwick in New York at an estimated $200 million?
That's a
Vessel.
very expensive
That's pretty
piece
pricey.
of art.
How about this one? B, Da Vinci's Grand Cavallo in bronze is the biggest statue of a horse ever created. That would be B.
I think the Trojan one was pretty big.
There's a pretty big one at Alderwood Mall, too. I'm just saying.
Alderwood Mall or Da Vinci. That would be B.
Okay.
Or C, buying a white couch is the best way to really bring out a toddler's sense of artistic expression.
Come on, you got to go with that one.
Has to be C.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, yeah, can there be multiple answers?
But the answer actually is, you guessed it, Vessel is a giant 16-story honeycomb of stairs and platform.
Oh,
What?
And it contains 154 flights of stairs for a total of 2,500 steps.
my gosh.
Was that featured in the movie Inception?
And
I'll have
did
to go
it
back
just
and watch.
change shapes?
back. Yeah.
Da Vinci was never able to cast his giant 24-foot horse in bronze, but he did manage to make a full-size model in clay. So that would be
Okay,
the
so that one
answer
is
to
bigger than the
B.
one at the mall.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, it's a
close.
close second, Alderwood Mall is. But hey, don't forget to come out to Dia de los Muertos this Saturday.
And that does it for this week, my friends. You've been listening to This Week in Kirkland. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Special thanks to Anthony Girardi, Chris Peterson, and Kate Ryan for their behind-the-scenes magic.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Our next episode is November 2nd. Until then,
Stay connected, Kirkland.